Well, that was kind of wrong.
Was it?
Yeah, so they probably got an echo of our intro song there. So sorry, guys. It's been a long day. Oh, my God. Good evening. We have a special guest tonight. We have Brahm with us. Brahm, welcome.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome, Brahm.
Yeah, hi.
Glad to be here.
Nice to have you here, Brahm. Brahm he's been on, you've been on several shows. You've been on Natural
Yeah.
Progressive and other shows. Do you have your own channel, Brahm?
I do. I don't really do a whole lot with it, to be honest.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's we're trying to get everybody some exposure. So if you ever want some, let us know what you got going on. So that'd be great. Chanda, how are you? Are you surviving today?
I am. I'm doing a record. What is this? Like, by the time I'm done, it'll be 5 hours on air or something.
Oh my gosh, jeez! Does that do something to you being on air, so on camera so much? I've heard it like rots your brain or something.
And yeah, it stills your soul, right?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. What are we going to talk about, Chanda?
I threw a bunch of stuff on the deck that's been happening today, and then some things that we need to talk about, like Julian Assange and the woes of capitalism.
Okay, before we get slamming here, I want to say hi to folks in Sirius. Sirius has 3 gold stars. She's been in here
3 times today.
3 times today, yeah. Walski's in, and we have Insight and Awareness. Hi, Vic. How you doing? Human, Love, Solidarity, and Joyce Milberg. Yeah, it is late, and Brahm is in your time zone, so it's 10 p.m. for him as well. So
Yep, it sure
there you
is.
go. It's so we're not gonna a great long show, but we're gonna have some a little less content and a little more chat about it. So
Yeah.
I guess we should take it away. Let me get the deck back up here where it needs to. We're going to talk about some in the news stuff today. Trump orders aides to halt talks on COVID-19 relief. President Trump said Tuesday that he has instructed his top aides to stop negotiating with Speaker Nancy Pelosi on future coronavirus stimulus legislation until after the November election. A risky move just weeks before the voters head to the polls. I had a conversation with a friend, political friend today. I said, is Trump really trying to lose? Or what the hell's going on? Chanda, let's start with you, and then we're going to let Brahm just go to town on this. What do you think of that move?
Well, yeah, I brought a couple of different clips. I think it's going to affect so many industries that they're just stopping talks. But what the hell is he thinking? I swear to God, his brain is being rotted by COVID, and he thinks that all these thoughts and prayers mean that he's winning and that he doesn't have to go out there and buy the vote. If people don't get a stimulus, they're going to be pissed and not vote for him.
Oh, yeah, they're throwing people out of their houses now. By the way, you got Trump's chin on your shoulder. I hope you've disinfected that area.
It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it is creepy. All right, Brahm, what's your take on this?
My take is simply this, that I think both sides realize, and particularly Trump, that our votes really aren't going to have the impact that a lot of us would think that they would. Our votes really don't count here. It's the corporations that get to choose our representation, not us. And I think Trump is very well aware of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. We're run by a world oligarch, and the corporations are those oligarch sock puppets that do everything that they want. So it's kind of like that, that tooling up, just like they cheaply buy off our House and our Senate. So
right.
Yeah,
so why should Trump have to throw us a bone when he realizes that our opinions really don't matter in this?
Well, yeah, I look at Biden. He's not giving those 100 million people, 100 whatever, any reason to vote for him. I mean, it's like
Right.
they're just giving us the finger all the way down the line. I got to shout
Exactly.
out. Jimmy Dore was screaming bloody murder about that again today, and I'm saying, yeah Jimmy, they're not going to give us shit. So anyway, I thought the timing on this was nuts too, because he'd just done his stint at Walter Reed, and
Right.
now he's coming out showing his presidential toughness or whatever on this. I felt like he was trying to emulate the art of the deal with this move. I don't know what the hell he was doing.
Yeah, we're done negotiating. Just stop.
We're
We don't
done.
need
Just
to.
tell that witch that I'm not going to talk to her about this. till after the election. So to me, it's almost like a backhanded way to extort votes. I don't know if you even see it like that, but
It could be a way to extort votes. Why don't we roll into the first clip, and it kind of breaks down why they think it's breaking down.
And this is
CNBS.
CNBS. Okay, let's fire it up here.
The president is now calling on his negotiators to put a stop to these talks. He tweeted, "I have instructed my representatives to stop negotiating until after the election, when immediately after I win, we will pass a major stimulus bill that focuses on hardworking Americans and small businesses." Trump then goes on to say that he's asking instead for Republicans to focus on confirming his nominee for the Supreme Court, Amy Coney Barrett. Now, we had just learned in the past hour or so that President Trump did have a phone call with the Treasury Secretary and top Republicans in both the House and the Senate. We were trying to find out what was said on that call. Now we know President Trump saying no more talks on another stimulus bill until after the election. Guys.
So what about the airlines is my question. I brought a clip. The next clip is another CNBS clip. It's only like 30 seconds.
Take a look at the airlines. They're all down between 2 and 4%, and the fall off was immediate. As soon as the headline crossed regarding the stimulus talks being over, at least for now, then you saw the big sell-off begin for all of the major airlines. One stock in particular I want to take a look at, Southwest Airlines. Why Southwest? You heard Gary Kelly on Squawk Box this morning. Southwest yesterday and again this morning reiterated that they plan to pursue 10% pay cuts in order to deal with what they're facing, which are these larger losses. They want to avoid furloughs, and they're going to start beginning negotiations with their unions. Well, the flight attendants union came out and said, no, we're not taking a 10% pay cut. You know, this is the kind of public jockeying you're going to get back and forth. The bottom line is this. Southwest, like all of the airlines, they cannot continue without a payroll package in place as they are currently constructed. Given the fact that you have lower demand, they are going to have to cut their costs further. And while Southwest is proud of the fact that it has never furloughed any employees in its history, Gary Kelly was very blunt in saying, look, we have to take actions in order to conserve cash. So,
yeah, they got to conserve cash. Yet again, the American people get fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the cash position there, we talked about this last week with Disney laying off 28,000 people. The supply chain for Disney, all their services that they, their vendors and everything else. And now that kicks back into the airline industry because who delivers the people to Disney all over the planet is the airline,
right?
And they can't sell these. They're giving these packages away just about for nothing.
What about Vegas? What's going to happen in Vegas?
Shit, I don't know. Maybe Vegas is a little bit immune because that's where all us old farts go to throw away our money. Not me because I don't have any money, but I don't know.
Yeah, but if y'all get COVID while you're there, what good's that do you?
Well,
right?
according to Humpty Dumpty, just be brave. We're going to get through this, and we're going to make sure our economy rolls. Brom, I don't know. I don't know what to say. What do you got to say about all this, Brom?
Well, again, the oligarchs are going to be taken care of. So as far as they're concerned, they don't really care about the rest of us. Yeah. Because a lot of them own their own private jets.
Yeah, they got private jets.
Why do they care how the airlines are doing?
Yeah, they don't. They don't. This is going to be a culling of the labor force in America like they've never seen before, and that's going to kick all the way down the road to throwing more people out, probably 4 to 5 times the amount of homeowners lost during the housing crisis, just by the sheer numbers. Chanda, you put up that rent graphic this morning. I mean, people are losing their places to live, their rentals, and it was crazy where all it was. One of the points you didn't cover this morning was South Carolina. With the Boeing going there, they had huge numbers of people going out in the rent, and that's going to probably benefit those for Boeing. But I still think that It's
Right,
not,
but capitalism's always going to do that. The oligarchs are always going to go where they're going to get the best tax breaks. They're always
Yep.
going to go where the labor's the
Yep.
cheapest, and the politicians are owned. You know, we know this.
well, Boeing's
Right.
going to have subsidized housing for all those people. I know it's just a grain of sand in the hourglass of misery for labor now, but this is insane.
They can just do like Apple does in China, you know, fucking house everybody at the at the production plant, and fucking that's their lives.
Yeah,
That's what
Right.
we're set up for.
I see these
Right.
honeycomb apartments like they have in Japan, where their employees are just going to kind of grab a pole and get into their little cubicle to go to sleep. So
Right, but we don't even have that. Our Amazon employees are living in their cars outside
their
of the
cars.
Amazon distribution centers.
in their
Right.
cars. So,
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have any suggestions for this, Brom?
Yeah. What we need is we need a major labor movement
Big time.
to get off the ground here in this country. And I think if these protests continue, they may help to fuel that kind of a movement. What
Yeah.
we need, though, is we need more talk regarding our labor situation, the environment, and the things that Trump has left off the table. Because you got to remember that it was a large swath of middle America that helped to get him elected, and they have largely been ignored by him.
And that's because he was talking about NAFTA and things that were affecting
Right.
them, right?
Right. Which he did some piecemeal crap for, but largely they have still been left completely untended to. So by leaving them left on the table, he left the Democrats a huge opening. What did the Democrats do? They crapped all over it by picking somebody like Biden.
True Democrat
So
style.
neither of them seem to be concerned about labor. Well, guess what? If these riots continue, and if this turns into a real labor movement, it will bite both of them in the ass.
Yeah.
And it's about damn time.
Do you see a general strike evolving finally from this?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. It's going to take time, and it's going to take us reaching across to those that we wouldn't normally talk to, but we're going to need to.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to take.
I think we're seeing it, like Mariana Everson was talking about this afternoon, is they're getting more organized with these things. We need to approach these like the Black Lives Matter protests and things. We need to take a lesson from France and some of the other countries
Yes.
and do pulse
Yes.
activism, not just this
Pulse, yeah,
steady
wildcat,
thing.
strike cat.
Wildcat. We're going to have to wildcat.
Yes.
But I see more individuals are needed to be trained to organize. We need organizers
Yes.
like they did in the original labor movement. I mean,
Yes.
not just people to get on their platform and like the Democratic Party does at their meetings, just have this bitch sessions. We need people
Right.
to actually get
Yeah.
serious about it. And I see that happening because the younger generations are not going to settle for what's happening. My generation and up, 60 up, fine, but 60 down, they are going to have to get organized and really
Yeah.
go after it. So
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And what it's going to take is it's going to take people like myself who are much more left in terms of economics, partnering with people that lean more libertarian. That's what it's going to take.
And I
Because
see
we're
that
all
happening.
we're all being affected by this.
I-
So we're going to have to put some of our issues to the side and work together to create this movement.
exactly.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. And I'm seeing that. I see a lot of libertarians skirting around us and us skirting around them. And I've seen that for many years now. I agree. I just want to shout out to Jordan Allen and Schultz C and Human. I saw you guys over there slaying it on the Convo Couch chat. So good job, you guys.
Yeah, that room was smoking.
Jilly.
That was smoking over there. Jilly Love, man, you're a tigress there. Wow. Wow.
Jordan, too. I saw all of them in there just slaying the libs.
Yeah, it was really something. That was very interesting. And was Fiorella? I'm going to ask the chat, though, you guys that were over there. Did she cry? Did something really upset her? Is she like? I didn't catch that. Chanda said it looked like she would. And we hate to see our friend friend over there, friends that
So upset, yeah.
that's, they're very passionate and they're very sincere about what they do, and we really appreciate that. So, again, I just Jordan just gave her Biden.
You guys play nice.
Yeah, play nice, you guys. Anyway, I think we should move on, don't you guys? Let's talk
Yeah.
about something that's actually.
Yeah, we know we're not getting a stimulus. We knew that months ago.
we're
Whatever.
screwed.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Pelosi.
Yeah.
Thanks, Trump. Thanks,
Thanks,
oligarchs.
Thanks for Kamshwari Kate says it was wild over at the convo couch. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. We were there. We were watching. We were like parents watching you guys.
We were there. We didn't want to get, we had a show we're doing right now. We didn't want to get too deep in that because it was smoking. So anyway, let's talk about our friend who's being the biggest travesty of justice in my lifetime, I think, right here. So, Brahm, you want to open up with your feelings on the Julian Assange trial?
Well, Assange is simply a victim, once again, another victim of our neoliberal capitalist empire. He has exposed the underbelly of this empire, and that it will basically stoop to the most disgusting travesties of war crimes in order to subjugate innocent peoples around the country, or around the globe, actually. So he is another victim, and in the trial, or travesty of a trial, the prosecution basically announced that the very crimes that Assange is being prosecuted for, they can hold the Washington Post, the New York Times, any other publication they want for the same crimes. So why aren't we hearing about this in our corporate media? And it's because they don't give a damn.
Yep.
They realize that as long as they're in bed with the CIA and our intelligence community, they really don't have anything to worry about. And they don't have any duty to tell us what's actually going on, because as far as they're concerned, it's just business as usual. As long as they cover for the empire, they don't have anything to worry about. So we don't figure out what's going on. We don't get the truth about what's going on unless there are truth tellers out there like Assange, and that's why he's being prosecuted.
Damn right.
Chanda.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I scream about Julian every day, and I have for, many years now. And yeah, it's a travesty of what they have done, the lies they have made up, how they've destroyed his life, his love, his health, his everything. They've taken his whole entire life from him just for giving us the truth. Think about the things we wouldn't know without Julian Assange.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's astounding. We would not have a quarter of the awake knowledge that we have without Julian. Yeah. And whistleblowers like him. There's so many, that have been tortured and mistreated throughout the years.
Yeah, no.
If we don't start standing up for these people and doing it now, what's left? There's nothing absolutely left. You'll never know the truth. You'll never know what the government's doing, what these oligarchs are doing. I feel like this is that line, and once it's crossed, we're done. We're done. There's no truth anywhere.
I think Julian Assange is the most highly visible candidate for martyrdom in my lifetime.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I say martyrdom, and I think that's what's going to end up happening with him. They're not going to figure it out with history and everything else. I think history's not going to be able to rewrite this one. Like they've done so many times. And Brahm, you alluded to the fact, not the tinfoil hat theory, that the CIA controls the media companies in the world. They do. I don't give a shit.
Yes, they do.
That has been
100%.
talked about forever. I got it straight from the mouth of CIA agents, 2 of them back in the 70s and the 80s, that they specifically embargoed all news coming from Vietnam. And they would only let out what they wanted to do. And and my dad was huge, and thank God the apple didn't fall far from the tree. But he asked those CIA agents, he goes, so what's with the 10,000 Vietnamese getting killed this week and 15,000 here and there? It was all propaganda, just like what we're getting now with the Russiagate horse shit and everything else. So there was a survey this morning. We talked about this survey that people don't believe the mainstream media. I think it was out of Jimmy yesterday or one of the shows. It's like 30% compared to, what it used to be back in the 70s. In other countries, like I think it was Finland or some of the Nordic countries, they believe their government, and it was in upwards of 60, 70%, which is shocking but not surprising. So again, I am so sad. I think we're looking at the screen behind us as the next incarnation of the political Jesus Christ.
Yes.
That's what I see, and I have not heard anybody say that. That is coming from me tonight, and I will stand by.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that too, Oz. It's very insightful.
Yep.
And here's the thing, though. You talk about the CIA involvement in our media. Chomsky's documentary, Manufactured Consent, would that come out? Early 90s, late 80s?
Yeah, late 80s.
That was before the 96 Telecom Act.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only gotten exponentially worse since then.
Yeah, exponentially worse. And Jimmy brought this up back in 2016 with Kyle and a lot of the other social media is manufacturing consent. Matter of fact, I think some books, the keel of these books have been based on that. I know that Matt Taibbi, what's that Inc. book that what was it?
He just wrote it. I know.
Oh God, shit. I haven't read it yet, but I want to read it. But it was it's really something to watch. And again, what's the matter with Kansas? That's another one by Thomas Frank.
Thomas Frank.
Just because we have
another excellent author. Yep.
I will say, just because we have computers, just read the books. Just read the books. Take a step away from the computer. Change your chair. Go outside. Read a book. It's still viable. Okay, I recommend that. So
we're getting a little pushback from the chat. Jordan Allen says Chomsky is contradicting himself, which is another thing that blows my mind about 2020. And he did in 2016 too, and so does Robert Reich, and so many of these people that I used to completely look up to. I agree, Jordan. That one hurts me, and I have a hard time with it.
It hurts me big time. It's almost as if he's never read his own books. I mean, that's essentially what it's like. It's
elitism is what it is. It's because he is in a position where, if he was suffering and not able to pay his bills and eat, I think he might have a different perspective because he's not suffering.
I agree.
He's comfortable. He doesn't understand.
Yeah. I agree.
I'm going to expand on that, you guys. You can agree to disagree or agree with me. You know how we talk about how different brains are wired differently? Like some brains are wired for English, some brains are wired for math, and so on and so forth. I think Chomsky, with his philosophical bent in life, the guy, he's brilliant, okay? I'm not going to dispute that at all.
Yeah.
But I think his brain, like others, are math wired to where it's more of an algebraic thing about, if you don't vote for so, you'd vote for the other. And a lot of people think like that. Like Chanda and I, we think so much alike, and we don't necessarily think in a mathematical way. We use that creative mind and look outside the globe. And I bet you're like that too, Bram. But I'm just saying we're all wired a little bit differently in the head, and this is what I'm thinking. Even Cornel West, again, he's endorsing the vote Biden for this, but he said today or yesterday, was it, Chanda? You brought that piece. He wasn't endorsing Biden. He was just endorsing voting against Trump. Is that what that was?
He was like, I'm endorsing voting against a neo-fascist in a swing state. But if you're not in a swing state, there's no point in supporting, fascism at all.
Yeah, no, right. I think I would be right there with Cornel West using the mathematical way that I do things, because I look at that. My daughter and I, we're big on math. We can't spell worth shit. So
I know that's how it works.
Yeah, it is. It's just like that. But that's what I'm thinking about these guys. And Tom Hartman, I don't know where he comes from.
Tom Hartman, that was another one that got me. Yeah,
another one. But again, these and I will say that I'm using this in the pretense or the pretext, I don't know which word it is, that these are honest people, whereas you have con men out there like
Right.
like I did an expose on Sam Cedar the other night that just those people, they're con artists, and I don't think
Yes.
they're not even in the league of what we're talking about
Right.
as far as political honesty. So so many people in our chat I believe to be of mind like that. We're honestly political because we don't have anything to lose. We've already lost it.
Yep, exactly.
So that's the thing. We're not trying to sell books or build an, or maybe we'll try and sell a book, but that's where I'm coming from. So
I ain't trying to sell nothing.
yeah, I know. You're just naturally.
Just giving you my opinion.
That's
Take it or leave it.
And that's what we at least we're talking. We're not buried deep in a video game or
But I'm giving you an opinion from a single mother who's worked her ass off in low wage jobs for 35 years to accomplish nothing. The American dream is a joke. It's not obtainable for anybody who was born at my pay grade,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Education, you can wear it on your sleeve all day long, but if you don't make the best of it through your life, you're going to end up like us, I wish I went to college. I didn't graduate, but
Not about how, I meet lots of college grads that make a shit ton of money and they're dumb asses. They have no common sense. They are just fed whatever the TV tells them and whatever their corporate masters have told them at college and then at work. And then, they're cogs.
That's exactly my point. See, I was in mid to upper level management and recruiting college students. I found that the college students going into the business aspect were actually taught in reverse of how experienced people in the field did things. They were taught the opposite. It's like, Jesus Christ, you got a college degree? I mean, this is where street smarts and college, and I'm not saying all college students at all. I'm not going to generalize like that because there are those who just really take off and use that education. There are those who use it as a badge and it's an empty suit and they've got a book that they learned in college and that's what they're going by. You cannot.
But it's a racket. I mean, okay, look at the colleges and how much
Education is a
money it
racket.
takes to go to university, and then who's paying for that programming? Who is making the itineraries of what these people are learning and why they're learning it? If you go try to find a Marxist book in any college, I think Chris Hedges says he couldn't find one for years. It's what they're teaching in these colleges that are pumping out these cogs.
I had the fortunate opportunity to study economics for a short period of time in Germany before my funding was cut. And I was amazed at the night and day difference.
Yeah, what
Amazed.
you learned. Yeah.
Absolutely amazed. There was a course I sat in on. The title of the lecture was, Can We Afford Millionaires and Billionaires?
No, we can't.
No, we can't.
And you came out of that lecture realizing, no, we can't afford them.
Yeah.
No, we absolutely can't.
It's just, it was mind blowing.
Socialism for the rich.
No, I'm so with you guys. I want to pull up a comment here and I want to respond to it because
What we're talking about rolls into our next clips with the capitalism thing.
Yeah, let me cover this comment because this is one of our favorite people. I really like Jordan. Jordan says here, let's see. Sorry, Sam Cedar is not in the same category as the people I listed, but he was being talked about, and he does con people in support of the DNC. That is clear. I agree 100%.
Yeah, I know what she's saying.
I wasn't trying to necessarily compare. It was more of the dialogue behind everything, but that was a whole different thing. So, Jordan, thank you. That was a great comment. It was very well stated.
Jilly says, Brom, Ted Turner asks Sagan if he's a socialist on YouTube. I have that clip on the deck for Beauty and the Boomer on Saturday. I
have seen it, and yes, it's quite clear that he may not have considered himself one, but Sagan was definitely
a socialist.
Definitely leaning towards socialism.
I had that clip on the deck for Saturday.
You are killing me, Shanda, because I was watching that the other day. I was looking at that and I'll go, God, I got to give this to Shanda to put it on the deck. I swear. I'm going to check my bathroom for cameras, Shanda. You are just right in my ear on everything. That's nuts.
All the microdosing I did over the years. I can read all your minds.
Oh my God, it's scary. I'm gonna do a redo of Fringe, and I'm gonna have you star in it. What do we got here? What is this, Shanda? Are you being funny?
Oh, when you've been hiding a zombie bite and can feel yourself starting to turn, but you don't want to tell your group.
Oh my God. Is that where he's huffing and puffing? That's a still. Yeah, huffing and puffing.
I'm not sick. I'm well. I'm well. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Now here's this one. I brought this today, and I got this. Jimmy put this up this afternoon. I honestly, really, I'm like going, no kidding. I mean, this breaks my heart. In March this year, Bernie Sanders addressed a crowd of 10,000 in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Today, Bernie Sanders addressed a crowd in Ann Arbor, Michigan. That was actually yesterday. Look at that. And I know COVID, but really the excitement, the non-excitement behind Joe Biden is stunning. And I just don't know where this is going to go. I do not know where it's going to go. So
I just ignore it.
I have a good idea.
Huh?
I have a good idea.
I would love it. What's your idea?
I think Trump's going to win again.
Boy,
I honestly do. I think he's going to win again.
Seems like
that's my prediction.
And obviously he does too, since he's canceled talks on the stimulus.
I think he's going to win again.
In our group, there is only one person for sure, I think, that thinks Biden's going to win. And I won't give their name. Chanda, you know who it is.
Yeah, I do.
I'm with all you guys. I think Trump's going to.
There's no enthusiasm. How can you win if you can't get people to the polls? If people won't go to the polls, you've got no chance.
Yeah.
Bingo. I still don't know if I'm going to write Bernie Sanders in or if I'm just going to skip the top of the ballot. I don't know or if I'm going to vote for Howie Hawkins, but I'm not voting for Biden or Trump.
And,
so.
and in Washington State, people are going to say, well, that's okay because it's a blue state. Well, no, that's not your motivation.
I'm actually leaning toward Joe Jorgensen, the libertarian.
I hear that from a lot of people.
That's simply because she announced on day one of her campaign that she would pardon Assange.
Well, yeah, that's a great one for me too. Honestly, I heard the statement from some people in the Democratic Party. Don't waste your vote on a protest vote. That was Michelle Obama, I think. Don't waste my vote on a protest vote. Then why do I vote anyway? What's the point?
Right. What's the point of voting?
What's the point of voting? What's the point of voting? Is the strategy just to beat the lesser of two evils? And the bar on that is in the dirt. I mean, Jesus.
I hate to break it to you, but your vote really doesn't matter at that level.
It really doesn't.
It really doesn't.
And then I'll go back to what Brom said. The world oligarch is going to say, and I said this way back when we started doing these shows. It doesn't matter because they're going to put in whoever the hell they want, whether it's Biden or Trump.
Right.
And but I'm still gonna be positive with my vote. And again, the down ballot tickets, I think there's a lot of credence to that, especially the really far down ballots.
Especially your local ones like Mariana, your
Catherine,
representatives and your seat
Georgia,
reps.
Yeah,
your mayors, your city councils. That's the shit you can change. They always say shit rolls downhill. Well, the boot goes uphill. So we got to give them the boot. But I love this. It says incredible how every candidate made a big deal out of supporting the nominee. Bernie's the only motherfucker out there doing it. True.
Is that what MF stands for? MF. Oh, I get it.
MF means motherfucker.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's good. I'm excited to go into this next segment because Brom, you are really big on this, and
this is a really good segment too.
Chanda and I are all over this as well because I've always advocated that capitalism has the seeds of its own destruction weaved on through it.
It does. Absolutely does.
That's just that's a mathematical thing too. So
one of the greatest economic commentators on that would be Richard Wolff.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else follows him.
I love Wolff. Are you kidding? We bring Wolff all the time.
Yeah, he
is amazing at breaking down how capitalism is its own worst enemy.
It is. Absolutely. Yeah. Richard Wolff.
Well, Wolff, and who's the one that Franklin's been bringing from RT a lot lately?
Yeah. I can't remind.
God, I can see his face.
Kaiser report.
European.
Kaiser report. Yeah, the Kaiser.
Max Kaiser.
Max Kaiser.
Yeah, that's really good. Anyway,
so this first clip's a little bit long, but it moves fast, and the information is just amazing. So
okay, I'm going to take us out and let this clip run, and I will be right back.
This episode and others like it are made possible by the generous support of my patrons on Patreon. If you'd like to help me make more content like this, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/secondthought. If you were to ask a handful of Americans what makes their country so special, odds are most of them would respond, our freedom. If you were to press them on the issue and ask why we experience such freedom, their answer would probably be something about the Founding Fathers, our strong military, and capitalism. Now, this video is not about the various global freedom rankings, in which America performs poorly compared to other wealthy nations. You can look those up on your own time. What I want to focus on is the adversarial relationship between our capitalist system and personal freedom. For decades now, the words capitalism and freedom have been treated as synonyms. But over the course of this video, I hope to show you that capitalism doesn't enable freedom at all. In fact, it actively suppresses it. This may sound like a strange claim, but bear with me. I think you'll come around by the end. Before we begin, we need to have a deeper understanding of freedom than simply, I get to do what I want. Let's start with the concepts of positive and negative freedom. Positive freedom is having the capacity to act according to one's free will. I get to do what I want is an expression of positive freedom. Negative freedom, on the other hand, is the freedom from coercion by others. One example of this would be the freedom to speak freely without fearing retribution from the state. These two types of freedom can be summed up as freedom to and freedom from. They often get tangled up and end up in conflict with one another, as in the gun rights example, I have the right to carry a gun in public versus I have the right to walk around without the threat of being shot. There will always be disagreement surrounding the issue of which form of freedom should take precedent. But the point of this video is that capitalism suppresses both forms. Let's take a capitalist economy as an example. Would you say that this kind of economy offers a positive or negative freedom as its value proposition? A positive freedom would be, I am entitled to a guaranteed fair share of the economy. That doesn't fit. What about a negative freedom? I am entitled to operate in the economy without coercion by powerful groups. That's closer, and that's how free market enthusiasts have chosen to describe the freedom afforded by capitalism. Here's the problem. Those people see the government as the only entity capable of exerting control over the economy. Government power is significant, but in today's hyper-capitalist economies, the governments themselves are beholden to the ultra-rich and massive multinational corporations. Capitalism not only fails to guarantee its people a fair share of the economy, positive freedom, it also fails to prevent the meddling of disproportionately powerful entities in the economy, negative freedom. Tax laws are always written to benefit the top 1%, energy policies always benefit massively wealthy fossil fuel companies, despite their effect on the climate. Why? Because the ultra-wealthy have bought both major political parties in the US. This is a direct result of runaway capitalism. The accumulation of obscene levels of wealth in the hands of a tiny fraction of the population has created an owner class with godlike power. Let's take another example. America has a for-profit healthcare system. It's incredibly lucrative, worth a staggering $3.65 trillion as of 2018. In a humane system, average people would be able to afford medical treatment. They could go to the emergency room without the fear of racking up tremendous medical debt. That's not the case in America. Before the pandemic hit, there were over 137 million Americans struggling to pay their medical bills. Again, that was before the pandemic. We've had 6.5 million confirmed cases of COVID since then, and hospital stays are incredibly expensive. The fact that we have so many people having to choose between going bankrupt and risking dying of preventable medical conditions is a damning indictment of our capitalist system. By choosing profits over all else, our hyper-capitalist healthcare industry has limited our freedom to reasonably priced care and our freedom from the fear of bankruptcy for basic health services. You have the freedom to start a business, but the end goal of capitalism is ever-increasing profits, and your business will likely fail as our system refuses to provide a level playing field. Hundreds of thousands of small businesses have been destroyed by the pandemic, but the country's billionaires and wealthiest corporations have seen a dramatic increase in net worth. Why? Because they were taken care of. They were bailed out or able to capitalize on the suffering of others. As of June, the country's wealthiest people had gotten $637 billion richer over the course of the
Wow. You're muted, Chanda. Chanda, you're muted. You're muted.
That was very informative, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that really nailed it. And
Well, it goes on a little bit more and talks about how we can't save it. So
yeah, I'm glad they focused on health care. Go ahead, Rob.
But here's the main thing, and that didn't really touch on. Our representation is for sale to the highest bidder.
oh, we get to that next. I think that's the next clip. There's like 3
is
clips
it?
on this.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's.
But you're right. You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, here's the next clip. Let's see what this one's only 2 minutes, so let's hear.
Profits by cutting costs and extracting as much labor from their workers for as little money as possible, you're unlikely to find a job that will offer a living wage. To make matters worse, capitalism treats basic necessities like commodities. Healthcare, food, water, shelter. These things can all be exploited to make a profit. The average American is compelled to sell their labor and hours of their life for whatever wage they can find simply to cover the skyrocketing cost of housing. That's not freedom. That's coercion. Take the workplace itself. You are subjected to the whims of the employer, no matter how demeaning or unfair. Constant schedule changes, demands to come in to cover a shift, restriction of freedom of speech. You are completely at the mercy of someone who can fire you for any reason or no reason at all simply because you cannot afford not to work. The vast majority of people don't have the luxury of taking time off to find another job, because that would likely mean missing a rent payment. You will be kicked out of your home and starve if you don't engage in the soul-crushing meat grinder that is the American labor market. That's not freedom. I can hear it now. If you don't like it, you can just leave.
Yeah.
How? How can the average American disengage with this coercive system? Even if you wanted to, say, live on your own land and produce your own food, thereby removing the power of the coercive capitalist system. In order to escape, you need capital. You need enough money to buy the land, which is already impossible for most people, then the funds to build a home, however small, and acquire supplies to grow food, find a way to collect water, and so on. The problem is, there's no way for the average American to accumulate that kind of money. The vast majority of capital is concentrated at the very top, and it's only getting worse. In 2019, the richest person on the Forbes Top 400 list was 21 times wealthier than the richest person on the list in 1982, adjusted for inflation. That money isn't just coming out of thin air. It's being siphoned from the rest of the population.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
That is 100% right.
Yeah, and that's, and they talk, and Bezos is the one that he thinks that, or he knows that eventually his company is going to go bankrupt. And I believe that. It's eventually going to go bankrupt. That's going to be the end of it all. It's not going to be a transition in my mind.
No, it's not. It's going to be a very hard stop at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, and this is where I one of the few times.
Well,
I
it's
agree.
like the biggest game of Monopoly ever. And the banker is cheating and winning, and him and his friends are pocketing everything. And they're about to flip the board on us. They don't care.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Nobody's going to win on that one. And I haven't got the psychology behind that whole thing. Why are they doing this when they know capitalism is going to die a very severe death and a quick death? So that's,
Here's why.
Yeah,
I can actually answer that. Here's why. Because it's the way that the game itself is played. They're only looking at their quarter profits. And as long as they remain that short-sighted, they don't have to worry about it. And that's basically the way this thing works. They're only worried about their next quarterly profits.
Right. And those that are looking to the future are looking at such crazy thoughts like Elon Musk, well, we'll just leave the planet, or we'll go underground in our bunkers, or once we kill all you, we'll have all the resources we need.
Right.
Well, I think your point is even a broader point, Brom, because that short-sightedness applies to the environmental crisis.
Oh, absolutely.
That applies to long-term health. That applies to everything. I mean, These bastards are running this train right off the bridge, and we have no way. Like in that video, we're stuck in that matrix that they built, whoever built it, that we have played along with for decades, and it's coming back to bite our heads off. That's all I can say.
Yeah, literally.
Bite our heads off. Totally. We got one more segment here.
And, he kind of wraps it up a little bit.
And this is a wrap.
But I dropped it in the chat for you guys to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. And everybody in the chat, thank you for hanging out. We've got about 15 minutes left, and I know it's late on your side of the country, so here we go.
Meanwhile, real wages have gone down, unions have been all but eradicated, preventing collective bargaining for better treatment, and most people can't cover a surprise $400 expense. You don't even have the freedom to disengage from the capitalist system. This system, and by extension your life, is owned by the ultra-wealthy. This is the logical conclusion of capitalism, and decades of consolidation of wealth and power in the hands of an increasingly small number of oligarchs. Capitalism cannot solve these problems because it doesn't recognize them as problems. The system is designed to allow for maximization of profit and will always yield monopolies and vast inequality. Corporations like Amazon can end careers and the future of entire cities by picking up and moving to a better tax haven. And they will, every time, because it makes them more money. Living your life at the mercy of the owner class doesn't sound like freedom to me. The vision of a free America and opportunity for all doesn't exist. Our lives are becoming less and less free. We have less time to spend with our loved ones, less money to put away for the future. Our life expectancy is decreasing. We can't get medical treatment because it will bankrupt us. We can't start a business because it will be crushed by the major players or left to die when the next pandemic comes along. And the government will always side with the ultra-wealthy instead of the average American because both parties are entirely bought and paid for. At this point in history, there is nothing capitalism can offer us that a more humane system could not. It's just a matter of realizing that we've been conditioned by decades of propaganda to see capitalism as a synonym for freedom. Capitalism does not provide freedom. It suppresses it. Okay, so what's the solution? That depends on who you ask. Some people think we can reform the system at the ballot box. Others think electoral politics is a dead end. The means may not be clear, but the end goal is we need to replace capitalism with a system that values human life over profits. One that actually does expand our freedoms and provides every person with a life of dignity. If you've
I have to compliment your cuts on that, Chanda. Those 3 cuts are perfect.
That was a hard one because it was 10 minutes long, but it was great information. Like I said, I dropped it in the chat. Go watch it if you want to finish, the end of it. But
yeah. Closing.
I really like that channel. That's Second Thoughts.
In a for-profit system, the problem becomes that the very election system that we rely on to vote in our representation is controlled by that for-profit system. They build the voting machines, so therefore they get the outcomes that they paid for.
Yeah,
it's really that simple.
Yeah, it is that
simple.
simple.
Voting is not the solution to our systemic issues. It isn't, and it never will be. Not in this kind of a for-profit system.
No.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more, and I'm gonna give you a quote from Sir Alec Guinness, Star Wars 1977. Sometimes the most obvious is the least suspected, and that's what you just said, Brom. That's exactly what it is. It's not this big complex, minutia of technical data and things like this. It's just basic greed. It's that's
it.
What is Naomi Klein's book? It's Disaster Capitalism.
Yeah.
I think that just nails it right there. So, again, that was a great segment. I really appreciate it. Is this something to follow up, this meme on that segment?
Yeah, this is when you defend capitalism, but you have no capital.
Oh yeah. That horse has been being eaten away for a long time.
Oh yes.
So I definitely agree with this. That's Shrek. It looks like a Shrek.
Yeah, I think that came from Shrek. But I always see these capitalism posts, and I always agree with them. People defend capitalism like it's the holy grail of systems. It's the only system we know. It's the system we have. No, we gotta fix this.
Well, my bootstraps are in the abyss. I will never be able to pull myself up by them. So that's that's
it's
just
not possible.
Yeah, we've got some. What is this, Stormy Daniels?
Yeah, we're gonna shift gears a little bit. I thought I'd bring you guys a little comic relief to end the night with. So we have a cat fight going on at the Twitter Snap chat, and it's a fight between the First Lady and former porn star or current porn star. Stormy Daniels, and apparently Melania called her a prostitute or a hooker. No, called her a hooker. So Stormy tweeted her back, haha, although I wasn't paid for sex and therefore technically I'm not a hooker, I'll take being that over what you are any day. You sold your pussy and your soul, and I'm legal. Keep talking about me. I like your new titties, by the way. Post more nudes, ? Hashtag be best. LOL.
Oh, I love those languages. We've got languages all over the place. We got catfight porn language here now. So anyway,
I love the little tweet. It says exactly what we deserve in 2020 as a catfight between the First Lady and a porn star.
I mean, and then you've got Michelle Obama gaslighting. I mean,
doesn't she?
I played. I'll run a couple. We got a little time.
She's awful.
Let me run this clip, and we have people probably in the chat that really think highly of the Obamas, and I got to tell you, no,
not in our chat. I wouldn't think so.
I don't know, but this, and notice how this is cut up. Just here we go. Check this out.
And we simply cannot trust this president to tell us the truth about anything. 7 months later, he still doesn't have a plan for this virus. 7 months later, he still won't wear a mask consistently and encourage others to do the same, even when those simple actions could save countless lives. Instead, he
from her Martha's
continues to
Vineyard?
gaslight the American people by acting like this pandemic is not a real threat. Right now, our country is in chaos because of a president who isn't up to the job. The president and his allies are trying to tap into that frustration and distract from his breathtaking failures by giving folks someone to blame other than them. They're stoking fears about Black and brown Americans, lying about how minorities will destroy the suburbs, whipping up violence and intimidation, and they're pinning it all on what's been
Standing
an
Rock?
overwhelmingly peaceful movement for racial solidarity.
Standing Rock?
Only a tiny fraction of demonstrations have had any violence at all.
Standing Rock?
So what the president is doing is once again patently false. It's morally wrong. And yes, it is racist. Racism, fear, division. These are powerful weapons, and they can destroy this nation if we don't deal with them head on. After seeing the presidency up close for 8 years, maybe the most important thing I've learned about the job is this: how a president focuses their time and energy in office is a direct reflection of the life they've lived before entering the White House. A president's policies are a direct reflection of their values. And we're seeing that truth on display with our current president, who has devoted his life to enriching himself, his family, and other wealthy people he truly understands.
Oh, no.
I know,
As she
Joe.
says from Martha's Vineyard.
He is a good man who understands the struggles of everyday folks.
What'd she say? Biden is a good man who understands.
Yeah,
the
Biden is a good man who understands the everyday struggles. of
All right,
people.
all right. I just got to say, this has got 2016 on steroids here. It's fear, fear, fear. Did you guys hear any substance or any policy or anything good other than he's a good man?
I don't know,
Nothing.
but Brom, you're killing it in the chat. Everything you're saying, I'm agreeing with. Yeah.
Brahma, you got, oh God, you are. God, you guys are great. Al Walski, brother Al, $20 from Al Walski, keeping on the lights so we can find our way back to the truth and justice when we're left in the dark. Thank you so much. We feel the same way. Again, this helps us keep going. Thank you so much, Al. We are on 5 platforms now. We're on Twitch TV. We're on Twitter now. We're on Rockfin. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. And was there anything else? I think that was 5.
We're everywhere.
We're everywhere, and we're going to grow that as much as we can. And we really appreciate the support that we get, the guests that we have. Thank you so much, Brom. Would you like to make a closing statement joining the show? I know we treated you like shit in the green room, and we threatened you and did everything else, but we hope we made up for it with a conference.
That's just our green room.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say thanks for having me on, and I look forward to doing this again real soon.
Yeah, we want to have you back, and anybody who wants to come on, just contact us. It takes us a while to get our stuff together, and once you ride a night in the green room with us, you'll see what we got, like 1,000 things going on 24/7. So I know excuses are like, but still,
There's a reason we call you the man behind the curtain, because what you guys don't see is this massive, insane studio that Oz is juggling to make sure we all look good, sound good, and you guys are getting a clear picture.
Yeah, and we're doing it because of you, our sisters and brothers in this battle, and the general strike is coming. We need to keep fighting. I'm doing this.
Yes, it is.
I'm doing
It's just
it.
a matter of time.
Absolutely, I'm doing it for.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah. I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it for my father who passed away. I'm doing it for my daughter and my neighbors, my sisters and brothers, everybody here. So thanks again. I know it sounds like a love fest, but I mean it. So,
Well, that's why we do it. I love my children. I love my grandchildren. I want them to have clean air, clean food, clean water, a clean earth to live on. I don't want her to be a
incumbent
slave.
upon us to leave this planet better than we found it.
that's our responsibility. absolutely our responsibility. And with that, I'm going to get a little bit hokey here. We need to come together. We need to bring each other together, whether you're libertarian or conservative or whatever. We have things that we have in common. The planet is dying. We need to do something about it together. This political bickering horse shit, and it's a sideshow. It's controlled, but we need to come together. And with that, we're going to go out with Gary Clark, Come Together. We'll see you in the morning on the dive. And
Women's Wednesday.
It's Women's Wednesday. Christine, if you see that, we're hoping to get you in. So Women's Wednesday. Ladies, if you can reach out to me tonight, we'll get you in. I don't have anything yet, but always I'll make room. Thanks again, Brahm. Chanda, wonderful.
Yeah, thanks, Brahm.
You're going to sleep good tonight, Chanda. You worked your buns off today. So
I didn't get my nap.
yeah, you didn't get your nap. Oh my God, you're going to be a dragon tomorrow. You better get your Khaleesi outfit on.
I gotta go find content for tomorrow's dive.
Yeah, I know. I just work you to the bone. Anyway, let's come together, everybody. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.